Welcome students in the channel Easy and Simple Physics by Joshi Sir Partur. Today we will discuss about the question paper of the first unit test 2023. In the model answer for the question paper of unit test. So, section A, in first question, select and write the correct answers for the following multiple choice type questions. So, first question is a velocity of mass m moves along a curved banked road of radius small r with velocity v, then angle of banking for the surface is option A tan inverse Rg upon V, option B tan inverse V upon Rg, option C tan inverse V square upon Rg, option D tan inverse Rg upon V square. So answer is option C tan inverse V square upon Rg, because we know maximum velocity with which vehicle can be driven along curved bank road surface is V square is equal to Rg tan theta. So tan theta is equal to V square upon Rg. So angle of banking theta is equal to tan inverse V square upon Rg. So answer is option C tan inverse V square upon Rg. Question number 2. The mean free path lambda of molecule of gas is option A square root of 2 upon pi n d square, option B 1 upon pi n d square, option C 1 upon square root of 2 pi n d square, option D 1 upon square root 2 pi n d square. So answer is option D 1 upon square root of 2 pi n d square, because mean free path of a gas molecule is 1 upon square root of 2 pi d square upon d square in bracket n upon v, where n is number of molecule, v is volume of gas and d is diameter of molecule. So small n is equal to capital N upon v, which is called number of molecule per unit volume. So answer is option D 1 upon square root of 2 pi and d square. Question number 3. Kirchhoff's junction is equivalent to option A conservation of energy, option B conservation of charge, option C conservation of electric potential, option D conservation of electric flux. So answer is option A conservation of energy, because junction is any point in the circuit where current is split or divided. So therefore Kirchhoff's second law, which is also called voltage law or loop law or mesh law. So therefore summation E plus summation IR is equal to 0. So law supports law of conservation of energy. Question 4. The effective or equivalent inductance of a combination of two inductor 3H and 5H are connected in series is option A 1 upon 3 plus 1 upon 5H, option B 0.533H, option C 1.875H, and option D 8H. Here H is Henry. So the answer of the question will be option D 8H, because for series combination equivalent inductance for series combination is Ls equal to 3H plus 5H, which is 8H. So answer is 8H. Question number 2. Answer the following question. Question 1. Value of coefficient of magnetic coupling between two coils when two coils are tightly coupled. So answer is coefficient of magnetic coupling between the two coils when coils are tightly coupled. So K greater than 0.5. So answer is greater than 0.5. Second question, define potential gradient. Answer is when potential difference applied across a uniform resistance wire, then potential gradient along the wire is defined as the fall of potential, that is potential drop from high potential end per unit length of wire. Third question is give any one difference between centripetal force and centrifugal force. So the difference is number 1, centripetal force is real force, whereas centrifugal force is imaginary force called pseudo force. Or another difference will be a force acting on particle towards the center of circle is called centripetal force, whereas a force acting on particle away from the circle called as centrifugal force. This will be the difference. Section B. Attempt any 4 questions of the following. Question number 3. Draw a well-labeled diagram of meter bridge experiment. So diagram is shown here. Their labeling will be RB is resistance box, which is known resistance. X is unknown resistance. Capital G is galvanometer. J is jockey. E, capital E is cell or battery, and K is single way or one way key, and RH is rheostat, which is used to control the current in the circuit. This will be labeled diagram. Question number 4. Give the difference between ideal gas and real gas. So the first is, in ideal gas, molecule of ideal gas behaves as ideal particle. That is, they are geometrical point without size and structure. Here, in real gas, molecule of real gas has finite size and structure. There are no intermolecular forces in ideal gas, but in real gas there are intermolecular forces which are non-zero. Third difference is molecule of an ideal gas have only translational motion, but in real gas molecule of real gas have in general translational motion, vibrational motion and rotational motion. Fourth difference is in the absence of intermolecular force between or intermolecular force, the internal energy of gas is kinetic, but in real gas, in presence of intermolecular force, internal energy of gas molecule is kinetic as well as potential. Here, in ideal gas, there is no intermolecular collision, but in real gas, there is intermolecular collision under the condition of collision frequency is high. The ideal gas cannot be liquefied. But in real gas, the real gas can be liquefied and also solidified by increasing pressure and decreasing temperature. Question number 5. A potentiometer wire has resistance per unit length 0.1 ohm per meter. A cell of EMF 1.5 volt which balance against the 300 centimeter length of wire. Find current in potentiometer wire. So first of all, we can write data. Resistance per unit length R upon L is equal to 0.1 ohm per meter. E is equal to 1.5 volt. Length L is equal to 300 centimeter, means 3 meter, and we can find current I. First of all, we can use a formula, potential gradient is equal to E upon L. So therefore, V upon L is equal to E upon L equal to 1.5 upon 3, which is 0.5 volt per meter. Using Ohm's law, we can use V equal to IR. So current I is equal to V upon R, which is V upon L divided by R upon L, means 0.5 volt per meter divided by 0.1 ohm meter. Meter get cancel. So I is equal to 5 upon 1 volt per ohm, which is ampere. So current is 5 ampere. Question number 6. What are eddy current? State the application of eddy current. So answer is, we know every metal plate consists of number of atoms. In each atom at center nucleus is present, and surrounding the nucleus electron is revolve in a circular orbit. When the metal plate is moved towards the magnetic field, so current is produced inside the metal. Due to motion of plate in magnetic field, such current is called as eddy current. So application of eddy current is electric brakes. Number 2, dead beat galvanometer. Number 3, induction furnace. And number 4, speedometer. You can write any two of applications of eddy current. So question number 7, find the expression for time period in circular motion. Answer is, for circular motion, an object in moving along the circumference of circle with constant speed or constant velocity called uniform circular motion. Let R be the radius of circular orbit, capital T be the time period, V be the velocity or linear velocity. For one rotation, object is moved along the circumference of circle. So we can use the formula velocity equal to distance upon time. So we can write velocity equal to circumference of circle upon time period. So therefore V equal to twice pi R upon capital T. And so time period in circular motion, capital T equal to 2 pi R upon V. We know V equal to R omega. So omega equal to V upon R. Therefore R upon V is equal to 1 upon omega. So time period of circular motion is T, capital T is equal to 2 pi upon omega, which is the time period in circular motion. At the rate of 250 revolution per minute produces a maximum EMF of 50 volt at what angular speed? does the generator produces a maximum EMF of 100 volt? So here, first of all, we can write given data. Here, the rate spinning at the rate of means frequency is given. Frequency 1 is equal to 250 revolution per minute, which is equal to 250 upon 60 revolution per second. So 0 get cancelled. So F1 is equal to 25 upon 6 hertz or revolution per second. E1 maximum EMF, we can write E1 is 50 volt. So we can find frequency. If maximum EMF is given as 100 volt, this frequency F2 is also said to be angular speed. So first of all, we know that EMF E is equal to E0 sin omega t, which can be written as E equal to capital N, capital A, capital B, 2 pi f sin omega t, where E0 is equal to NAB 2 pi f, means maximum EMF E0 is directly proportional to frequency. So E01 directly proportional to F1, E02 directly proportional to F2. Therefore, F2 upon F1 is equal to E02 upon E01. So frequency F2 is equal to E02 upon E01 multiplied by F1. So F2 is equal to 100 divided by 50 multiplied by 25 upon 6, which is 25 upon 3 revolution per second, which is equal to 8.333 revolution per second. In the terms of revolution per minute, so multiply 60. So F2 is equal to 8.333 into 60, which is 499.980, which is approximately 500. So F2 is equal to 500 hertz or 500 revolution per minute, which is the angular speed 500 revolution per minute produce a maximum EMF of 100 volt. So we see section C. Attempt any two of the following question. Explain the use of potentiometer to compare the EMF of two cells by individual or separate method. First of all, we have seen the construction for potentiometer. That is, potentiometer consists of several meter long wires which are stretched on a wooden board fixed between two terminal A and B. Across A and B, a battery is connected through rheostat RH with a single way key K. This rheostat controls the current in circuit. Consider the two given cell whose EMF is E1 and E2, means Leclanché cell and Daniell cell. Their positive terminals are connected at point A and negative terminal is connected to two-way key. The middle terminal is connected to galvanometer and another terminal of galvanometer is connected to jockey, which slides on potentiometer wire as shown in figure. In this figure, E1 represents Leclanché cell, E2 represents Daniell cell, capital G represents galvanometer, capital J represents jockey, K represents one-way key, and RH represents rheostat. Potentiometer is used to compare the EMF of two given cell by two methods. Number one, in individual method, and number two, sum and difference method. Using potentiometer, we can compare the EMF of two given cell by individual method or separate method. When key K is closed, then current flow through circuit. Using rheostat, the flow of current is controlled by closing key K1. So cell E1 is in working, and by open key K2, cell E2 is not working. By sliding the jockey on potentiometer wire, galvanometer shows null deflection or zero deflection at point D. Measure length AB is L1. So L1 is called balancing length for Leclanché cell whose EMF is E1. Using potentiometer principle, E1 is directly proportional to L1. Therefore, E1 equal to I sigma L1. Equation number 1. If key K2 is closed and key K1 is open, then Daniell cell whose EMF capital E2 is in working. Therefore, E2 directly proportional to L2, so E2 equal to I sigma L2. Equation number 2. From equation 1 and 2, E1 upon capital E2 is equal to I sigma L1 upon I sigma L2. I sigma get cancelled. Therefore, E1 equal to L1 upon L2. Using this formula, we can compare EMF of two given cell by individual method. Question number 10. Find expression for maximum velocity with which vehicle is moved along the horizontal curved road surface. So, consider a vehicle which is moved along the horizontal curved road surface. Let small m is mass of vehicle, r is radius of horizontal curved road surface, v is maximum velocity of vehicle. For circular motion, centripetal force is necessary. Therefore, centripetal force equal to mass multiplied by centripetal acceleration. Therefore, centripetal force is equal to mv square upon r. Equation number 1. Let mu be the coefficient of friction for road surface and tire of vehicle. So, therefore, force of friction is equal to mu multiplied by weight of vehicle. So, force of friction is equal to mu into mg. Therefore, vehicle can move along the horizontal curve road surface without skidding off. So, centripetal force is balanced by force of friction. So, vehicle is moved safely along the horizontal curved road surface. From equation 1 and 2, mv square upon r equal to mu m into g. Get cancelled. So, v square is equal to mu rg. Therefore, v equal to square root of mu r into g, which is the expression for maximum speed with which vehicle is safely moved along the horizontal curve road without skidding off. Question number 11. At 400 degree Kelvin, what is the RMS velocity of helium atom? Given mass of helium atom is 5u, where 1u equal to 1.66 into 10 raised to minus 27 kg and kb equal to 1.38 into 10 raised to minus 23 joule per Kelvin. So given capital T equal to 400 degree Kelvin, we can find out RMS velocity CRMS equal to question mark. Mass of helium is 5u, which is 5 into 1.66 into 10 raised to minus 27 kg is equal to 8.30 into 10 raised to minus 0 into 10 raised to minus 27 kg. So here kb equal to 1.38 into 10 raised to minus 23 joule per Kelvin. We know pressure exerted by gas P equal to 1 upon 3 rho C square RMS, where rho equal to m upon V. So P equal to 1 upon 3 in bracket m upon V C square RMS. So 3 PV equal to m C square RMS. Therefore C square RMS is equal to 3 PV upon m. For ideal gas, PV equal to nRT. Therefore, C square RMS equal to 3 nRT upon capital M. Let nR equal to kb. So, C square RMS equal to 3 kb upon capital 3 kbt upon capital M. Therefore, C square RMS is equal to 3 square root of 3 kb capital T upon capital M. If we substitute the values here, square root of 3 multiplied by 1.38 into 10 raised to minus 23 into 400 upon 8.30 into 10 raised to minus 27. So here multiplication will be 4.14 into 4 into 10 raised to plus 6 upon 8.30. Therefore is equal to square root of 16.56 upon 8.30 into 10 raised to 6, which is given a result as square root of 1.999 into 10 raised to 6. So answer will be 1.413 into 10 raised to 3 meter per second. Therefore, RMS velocity for a gas which is given as 1.413 meter per second. Question number 12. Coil of self-inductance 5 Henry and resistance 200 ohm carries a current of 5 ampere and find number 1 energy stored in magnetic field of coil, number 2 energy per second dissipated in the resistance of the coil. Answer is given data. Capital L equal to 5 Henry, 5H. Current I is equal to 5 ampere. Resistance is equal to 200 ohm. We can find out energy UM is equal to question mark and energy per second, which is also called as power, which can be calculated. So first of all, we know that magnetic energy which is stored, that is UM is equal to half Li square. So half multiplied by 5 multiplied by 5 square. So half multiplied by 5 multiplied by 25. So it is 125 upon 2, that is magnetic energy which is stored is equal to 62.5 joule. Energy per second dissipated in the resistance means power dissipated. So power is equal to current multiplied by potential. So I multiplied by V, but from Ohm's law, V equal to IR. So I multiplied by I, which is equal to I square R, which is equal to 5 square multiplied by 200. So power dissipated is equal to 25 multiplied by 200. It will be energy per second dissipated is 5000 watt. Section D, which is long question. Attempt any one of the following. Here the question is, derive an expression for pressure exerted by gas on the basis of kinetic theory of gases. Consider a gas which is enclosed in a cube. Each side of cube is L. Let gas consist of capital N number of particles called as molecule. Let small m be the mass of molecule of gas. So therefore capital M equal to small m multiplied by capital N, which is called as mass of gas. Let L is length of each side of cube. So area of cube is L multiplied by L, which is L square, and volume of cube is L cube. Therefore volume of cube is equal to volume of gas. Therefore density of gas is equal to mass of gas divided by volume of gas. So density rho equal to capital M upon capital V, which is Mn, M small m capital N upon L cube. Equation number 1 as shown in figure. Different gas molecules are move with different velocity. Let C1, C2, C3 Cn be the velocity of each molecule of gas. So let small m be the mass of molecule of gas, C1 be the velocity of first molecule of gas. So momentum before collision is small m C1. Momentum after collision is minus small m C1. Therefore change in momentum, which is equal to momentum before collision minus momentum before after collision, which is minus mc1 minus mc1. Therefore change in momentum is minus 2mc1. So the rate of change in momentum is called force. So force acting on first molecule, that is F1 is equal to change in momentum upon time. F1 is equal to minus 2mc1 upon small t. Using Newton's third law of motion, we can take as F1 force acting on first particle is 2mc1 upon t. Consider the equation as A. T second and molecule can cover a distance of 2L. So velocity of first molecule C1 equal to 2L upon small t. Therefore small t equal to 2L upon C1. Put this value of t in equation A. Therefore force acting on first particle F1 is equal to 2 small m C1 upon 2L upon C1. 2 get cancel. So F1 is equal to m into C1 square upon L. Similarly, force acting on the molecule of gas along x-axis can be written as Fx equal to mcx square upon L. Force acting on molecule of gas along y-axis is force y, Fy is equal to mcy square upon L. Therefore, force acting on molecule of gas along z-axis is Fz is equal to mcz square upon L. So, total force acting on a gas molecule along x, y and z axis is F equal to Fx plus Fy plus Fz upon 3. Substitute the value of force. So, we can write as total force F is equal to mcx square upon L plus mcy square upon L plus mcz square upon L divided by 3, which is 1 upon 3 m upon L in bracket cx square plus cy square plus cz square, equation number B. Similarly, we can take as for first particle or for nth particle, if we consider n particle or nth molecule, so total force F is equal to in bracket F1x plus F2x plus F3x plus Fnx plus F1y plus F2y plus total force acting on nth molecule is F equal to in bracket F1x plus F2x plus F3x plus Fnx plus F1y plus F2y plus Fny plus F1z plus F2z plus Fnz. So therefore total force in all direction will be same, that is F equal to Fx plus Fx is equal to Fy is equal to Fz. Therefore 3F is equal to Fx plus Fy plus Fz. So total force F is equal to 1 upon 3 in bracket Fx plus Fy plus Fz. So we can write as total force 1 upon 3 m upon L in bracket C1 square x plus C2 square x plus C3 square x plus Cn square x bracket close plus another bracket C1 square y plus C2 square y plus C3 square y plus Cn square y, another bracket close plus in another bracket C1 square z plus C2 square z plus C3 square z plus Cn square z bracket close. So which can be written as 1 upon 3 m upon L in square bracket C in bracket C1 square x plus C1 square y plus C1 square z plus C2 square x plus C2 square y plus C2 square z plus in bracket Cn square x plus C2 Cn square y plus Cn square z bracket close. So here we can also written as total force F is equal to 1 upon 3 m upon L in square bracket C1 square plus C2 square plus C3 square plus Cn square bracket close by definition of mean square velocity of gas molecule. So C square mean is equal to C1 square plus C2 square plus Cn square upon n. Therefore C1 square plus C2 square plus Cn square is equal to n times C square mean. By put the value of C square mean. So here total force F is equal to 1 upon 3 m upon L in bracket capital L C square RMS, which is taken as 1 upon 3 m capital N upon L C square RMS. We know that it can be written as 1 upon 3 capital M upon L C square RMS. Therefore, force is equal to 1 upon 3 M upon L C square RMS, because C square mean is equal to square root of is equal to C square RMS, or C square mean is equal to C square mean. Here we know that pressure exerted by gas P equal to F upon A, which is F upon L square. Therefore, P equal to 1 upon 3 M upon L C square RMS upon L square. So, P pressure exerted by gas is equal to 1 upon 3 M upon L cube C square RMS, which is 1 upon 3 capital M upon capital V C square RMS. And so that pressure exerted by gas on the basis of kinetic theory of gases is P equal to 1 upon 3 rho C square RMS. Question number 14. What is transformer? State the principle of transformer. Describe the construction and working of transformer with a neat label diagram. First of all, we have seen a transformer is an electrical device which uses mutual induction to transform electric power at one AC voltage into electric power at another AC voltage. Then we can see that principle of transformer. A transformer which works on the principle of mutual induction, that is, a changing current through one coil creates a changing magnetic flux through an adjacent coil, which is in turn induces an EMF and a current in secondary coil. So first we can see that construction. Transformer consists of two coils named as primary and secondary, wound on two arms of a rectangular frame called the core. So first we can see that primary coil. Primary coil, it consists of an insulated copper wire wound on one arm of core. Input voltage is applied at the end of the primary coil. Another, see that secondary coil. It consists of an insulated copper wire which is wound on the other arm of core. The output voltage is applied at the end of secondary coil. In a step-up transformer, thin copper wire is used. For a secondary coil. And in a step-down transformer, thick copper wire is used for secondary coil. We can see the two figures, step-up transformer and step-down transformer. Here, in primary, thick copper wires are less number, but in secondary, thin copper wire are in more number in step-up transformer. Whereas in step-down transformer, thin copper wires are across primary and thick copper wire are wound around the secondary of. So here in step-down transformer. So core, it consists of thin rectangular frames of soft iron stacked together but insulated from each other. A core prepared by stacking thin sheet rather than using a single thin sheet, it helps to reduce eddy current. Working. When terminal of primary coil are connected to a source of an AC EMF, then there is alternating current through it. Alternating current produces a time which is varying. Magnetic field in the core of the transformer. The magnetic flux associated with secondary coil. Thus, it varies periodically with time according to current in primary coil. Therefore, alternating EMF output voltage is induced across the secondary coil. Let us see. NP is number of turn across primary. NS is number of turn across secondary. EP is EMF across primary. ES is EMF across secondary. IP is current across primary and IS is current across secondary. For ideal transformer, IP into EP is equal to IS into ES. Magnetic flux across primary, that is phi P, and magnetic flux across secondary is phi S. So we can say that phi P is equal to phi S. We know according to Lenz law, EMF across secondary ES is equal to minus NS d phi S upon dt, which is equal to minus NP d phi P upon dt. So, ES upon EP is equal to NS upon NP. For step-up transformer, if NS means number of turns across secondary is greater than number of turns across primary, NS is greater than NP. So, we can say that EMF across secondary is greater than EMF across primary, means ES is greater than EP. But if NS is less than NP, so we can say that ES is also less than EP. Then IP upon IS is equal to NS upon NP. Therefore, a ratio is said to be ES upon EP equal to IS upon IP upon IS is equal to NS upon NP. NS upon NP is called as a Turner ratio. For step-up transformer, this Turner ratio is greater than 1, but for step-down transformer, the Turner ratio NS upon NP is less than 1.